Hi, my name is Robert Lawrence, and I live in Birmingham, and I am running to be the state representative for the 40th District in Oakland County, which represents Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, Bloomfield Township, and 12 precincts in West Bloomfield. And the question is, why am I running? Well, I've been on the Birmingham School Board for 9 years now, and I've seen what good governance can do. We work together for one mission, and that's to make our schools a better place for our kids and our communities. And we've been successful in that. So I want to take those lessons and my business background and bring it to Lansing in order to achieve greatness for Michigan. I want to see Michigan be the #1 place for our children to build their futures, to build their careers, and to build their opportunities. And I think we need a change of thinking in order for that to happen. Now, the next question that the Free Press has asked is, what programs or services do we think we spend too much money on? How much do we spend too little on? Well, I can think of one thing in the general fund right now, that we spend too much money on corrections. Since 2003, expenditures on corrections have gone up 23%, while expenditures on higher education has gone down 30%. That's a mismatch in priorities when we talk about the value of education. And a place where we spend too little is on preschool. If we're really looking for the biggest bang for the buck in education, it's targeting our most at-need students and giving them a solid foundation to launch them forward in their educational careers. So how would I balance these spending priorities? We'd find a way to drive more efficiencies in the correction system. We'd review the sentencing guidelines. We'd take a look at how we treat certain crimes and how we incarcerate people. And maybe there's different options that we can employ. For example, for substance abuse. Maybe addiction treatments are far more appropriate and better expenditures than incarcerating. So that's the answer to question 1. Question 2. Do you support the efforts to make Michigan a right-to-work state? And do I support the citizens' initiative to prohibit enactment of right-to-work legislation? I think it's long past time that we had this debate. I do believe that a right-to-work opportunity is far better than a mandatory enrollment in a union. I think ultimately, if the answer came out that this was to become a right-to-work state, which I support, I think that union members would find their lives better off. And this is principally because the unions would be forced to compete for their dues. And as a result, they'd be giving value and proving value to their membership. It's much easier to just sit back and collect something that's mandatory than it is to go out and earn it. So I think ultimately the unions would have to rethink what they do for their membership, and I think it would broaden the opportunities for workers across Michigan to not be forced into making that choice. And the last question is, do I support Public Act 4? And this is the Emergency Manager Act. Typically, if a school district or a municipality finds itself at the precipice of either needing a financial manager, emergency financial manager, or some other intervention, they are at the doorstep of bankruptcy. They've either mismanaged or some external event has come to completely dismantle their budget, and they have no place else to turn. And the reality that nobody seems to think about is that an emergency manager is actually a buffer to bankruptcy. And having been involved in business where I've seen others go through bankruptcy, or I've been a lender to a company that's been involved with a company that's in bankruptcy, or even gone into bankruptcy itself, that is a far less desirable option than dealing with an emergency manager, because life under bankruptcy is far more draconian and difficult for the people involved. So an emergency manager attempts to put things in place that will prevent that bankruptcy. So as much as everybody might be concerned about what happens under an emergency manager, life is far worse under bankruptcy, whether it's municipal or any other code of bankruptcy. So there you have it. Again, my name is Robert Lawrence. I'm running to be the 40th District Representative in the State House. Remember to go out and vote August 7th. Thanks for your time.